Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be all about books that will no longer be on my TBR. Mount TBR, I feel like we probably all can relate. I have way too many books that I'm hoping to read eventually. And once in a while I go back on my list, either on Goodreads or my waiting list or wish list at my library, and I kind of clean things out a little bit. Otherwise, it will just be a never-ending list, which I would still be kind of okay with. But you know, your taste can change, and as I was doing that, I realized why not do a video about this. So I have a dozen or so books that I wanted to talk about that, you know, just letting you know I'm not going to finish them, or authors I'm not interested in reading from anymore, possibly. As always, you can feel free to try and convince me otherwise in the comment section. Probably not going to change my mind, but it's always fun to hear other people's opinion, because obviously I didn't finish these books, or some of them I haven't even tried. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe I should give them a shot, maybe I'll do a vlog on one of them. We shall see. Let's start with two books that I would consider magical realism. And I attempted to read both of them because they are so incredibly popular. Scratch that. The first one is. The second one reminded me of the other one, so I feel like if you liked one, you like the other. However, I don't think I lasted more than 2 or 3 hours in the audiobooks because I can't deal with that style. I just can't. So, The Bear, the Nightingale. I know, everyone loves it. Everyone. And I believe it is inspired by Russian myth, folklore, something like. I could not get into it. Like I said, I was trying to listen to the audiobook. I was bored out of my mind. I could not focus, which is rarely an issue for me with audiobooks, so I just kind of gave up, even though everyone gave it like 5 stars. And recently I was starting to listen to Disappearing Earth, which gave me the same vibes. I'm not even sure if either of them are actually considered magical realism, but I shoved them in that genre in my head because that's the feels I'm getting. So if you like magical prose, that's like always how I describe it, with weird hand movements. I don't like it, okay? It's vague. I just can't. I'm sure the writing is beautiful. I'm sure a lot of people like them. But I'm just admitting to myself that, look, magical realism usually doesn't work for me. And if after, you know, even if it's just 3 hours to the audiobook, if I'm not feeling it, why will I torture myself and get it again from my library? Like, if I got it from the library, it means I had it for 3 weeks, didn't finish it. What's the point? So yes, even though the first one is very, very popular, it's official. I am DNFing them. I will not finish them. I'm officially giving up and I'm moving on with my life. There are so many other books I want to read, so no, bye. Speaking of magical realism, an author I've tried, guys, and like I still might maybe like do a vlog like giving a second chance to Neil Gaiman, because I can't deal. I just can't get into his books. The only book that I finished was The Ocean at the End of a Lane, which was a short book. I read it for a readathon, so that's kind of why I finished it. Didn't care for it. I did read that other book that he wrote with Terry Pratchett, the one with the angels. I read that. It was fine. Nothing that I was crazy about. And I have, I think, 2 or 3 books of his on my shelves, and I still have not picked up something else by him ever since, because I just can't convince myself. And the more I hear about his writing style, the more I realize kind of magical realism, kind of just not my jam. The only one I was kind of thinking about giving a shot to was the Graveyard one, which is like a children's book, Halloween-ish, so maybe. But I don't know. You get to vote. Otherwise, in my next decluttering video, I will just get rid of all the ones that I have. I know I have one like literally right here. Do I? Yeah, I have Neverwhere like here. I have zero intention of picking this up. Like, I'm just admitting it to myself. I don't think I'm gonna like this. So I think it is official. Neil Gaiman and me, we're just breaking up. Let Me Lie by Claire McIntosh. It has been on my list for like ever since it came out. I had my name on the waiting list, and then I never ended up reading it. And I realized that I read 2 of the books by her, and both of them were domestic thrillers, which I don't really care for. It's always like a mom and kids, always. And I know a lot of people like those, but I just don't really care for them. And I didn't really care for one of the twists in the ending of one of the ones that I read. And it kind of made me a little hesitant. I'm not saying I'm never going to read anything else by her, but again, this book has been on my list for almost a year at this point, and I have had the chance to read it, and I just didn't take it. So I don't really think I'm going to read it, but again, the ratings weren't that great either. That doesn't help. Like when you were like, oh yeah, I totally want to read this, and then a year later you haven't, and you look at the ratings and they're getting lower and lower, you're like, another book that I attempted to read so many times, Autonomous. I don't know how far I was into it. All I know is that I attempted it 3 times. I tried the physical book, I tried the audiobook twice. I can't get into it. I can't pass, I don't know, like not a couple pages, not even like 100 pages, and I just give up every time. I can't deal. I don't know if it's the writing, if it's just the style. Technically, I usually try to like give a bit more time than that to a book before giving up. But after 3 times, again, I'm just admitting to myself that there must be something that we don't connect. And it sounds like a breakup every time. We just, couldn't connect, and we went our separate way, and everyone's gonna be happier that way. And yeah, I can't deal. I tried so many times. I believe there is a second book that came out. I don't know. I don't care. Okay, it is done. We're officially not a good match. So if you have read it, let me know, because I know it's a sci-fi. I think it's YA, and the main character is half cyborg, maybe. I don't remember at this point. It's been like 2 years of me trying to read it. So officially giving up on that book. Will not pick it up. It is removed from my TBR. I have a bunch of classics that I'm finally admitting to myself that I will not read. I don't think I have any of those on my shelf, so there's that. We kind of all do that, or I will say a lot of us do that we tell us, oh yeah, one day I will pick that book up. Probably not, which is kind of why I'm admitting it. I'm removing them from my official TBR, the pile of to-be-read books that I have on my Goodreads account, or even my waiting list at the library. So, a couple of them. Les Misérables by Victor Hugo. I have literally zero intention of reading this like humongous brick, and everyone always asks me because I speak French, and I'm like, no, I have zero intention of reading it. I know it will actually make me miserable, and I don't know. I haven't even watched the movies. Like, that's how I have like zero interest. I was going to say maybe you can convince me otherwise, but I don't think so. No, not interested. I do read French classics once in a blue moon, even though not really. It's been a while. But yeah, I don't think so. Another classic, any Shakespeare? I've never read any because in school, again, I was speaking French, so I never had to read them in class. And I have like literally zero interest because I've just been seeing people being tortured, and I know that as an adult maybe it would be different. Maybe I would watch the play, but I have no intention on read any of the plays, like the scripts. No, it's not gonna happen. So again, admitting it to myself, because I feel like whenever I go to like used bookstores, I'll always see the like either the individual ones or like the complete edition of like, all of the things he wrote, and I'm always like, oh, maybe, but then I always say, nah, So I'm admitting it. Removed from my official TBR. I don't think I will ever pick up the physical books. Same thing with things like Lolita, which I don't think I ever want to read. I'm aware of what the topic is. I'm aware that a bunch of people like it makes the main character like almost likable, and I highly doubt that. So I don't know. Frankly, it's just not something I'm interested in reading. Even if the writing is apparently beautiful, I don't think I'll ever pick that up. Let's go with a few recent things. Born by Jeff Vandermeer. I struggled to read Inhalation by him, which is like a sci-fi. I mean, there's a movie now, so everyone probably knows what it is. Even Natalie Portman could not salvage that. When something is written weird just for the sake of being weird, it's kind of how I feel about his books. I want to like sci-fi stuff, but I don't think I'll ever pick up anything else by him. I haven't since. It's a trilogy, right? And Area X, I think that's the trilogy. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Actually, it's never going to happen. So again, officially, I don't think I'll ever read anything by John Green. Unless, again, I do a reading vlog on this, which, again, feel free to vote in the comment section. That might happen just for that sake. But I've never read A Fault in Our Stars. I've never read Paper Town. What's the other one that everyone talk about? I've just had no interest in reading them. And from what I've heard, it's probably for the best. But if you want to torture me, maybe, but I feel like there are other books that I would rather torture myself with. I don't think I'm ever going to read more by I can't say it in English. Agatha Christie. I read what was it? I can't even remember. Her most famous book, And Then There Were None. See, one by one, so close. Yeah, I didn't really care for it. Like, I didn't, figure it out while I was reading it, but I wasn't really enjoying myself more than anything else, really. And they made a movie for the other one that is really popular by her, the train one, Orient Express, whatever. I was thinking about picking it up before watching the movie, and I didn't even really care for the movie, so I don't think I'm gonna pick up more by her. And it's weird because I used to be obsessed with those mystery thrillers. My parents had like a million, was it Marianna Clark's? Marianna Clark? I don't know. I've read my share, and I just, meh. And because I'm incredibly petty, I am thinking about not reading anything else by Liane Moriarty, because I really enjoyed Big Little Lies. I've only watched the first season of the TV show because I tried the second one and that was boring as hell. But I decided to pick up her most recent book, which was 9 Perfect Stranger, and what a waste of time. I really didn't care for it. I left a terrible review on Goodreads, and most people tend to agree in the comment section of that review, so I'm probably not alone. But after that book, I'm kind of tempted to just, again, not read anything else by her again. And I do have one of her books on my shelf. I have The Husband's Secrets, and I've been wanting to read it, but again, after reading that one, I'm like, I don't know. Last classic I don't think I'm going to be reading is Catch-22, because everyone says that it's super funny, and every time I read a book that everyone says is funny, I don't find it funny at all. So I'm stuck in this Catch-22. But yeah, I just have a feeling I'm not gonna like it, so I might as well just admit to myself it's not gonna happen. So those are the books that I finally admitted to myself that they need to be removed from Mount TBR, and that I need to just, again, admit to myself that it's not gonna happen. Let me know in the comment section if you have read any of these, if you love them, I should absolutely read them, or if you agree that I'm doing the right decision here. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and to subscribe, because I am coming up with the opposite, basically books that I'm adding to my TBR, books that I am dying to actually read. I will be putting some more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.